The ancient Romans went to communal baths for a variety of reasons, including social and recreational purposes. Communal bathing was an integral part of Roman culture and played a significant role in their daily lives. While wealthy Romans would have their own private baths at home, they would still go to public baths together with people from all social classes. Both men and women would go to the baths. During some periods of ancient Rome, mixed bathing was allowed, while at other periods there were separate facilities for men and women. Public baths varied in size, but the larger ones, such as the baths of Diocletian and the baths of Caracalla, had, apart from different bathing rooms, shops, libraries, gyms, and swimming pools. So, a Roman could spend an entire day in the bath socializing, exercising, relaxing, and even studying. And if you were in ancient Rome, the best part is that going to the baths was very affordable and sometimes free, with even slaves being allowed to go. There isn't a strict order of where you would go in the baths and what a Roman might have done depending on their personal interests. But for what we know, generally, when you entered a public bath, the first room you would go to was the apoditarium, or the changing room. This is where you would store your clothes and any other belongings, and change into your exercising clothes. It was also common to go to the baths naked. Then you would go to the Eleutasium or the oiling room, where visitors would have themselves oiled and scraped with a strigil. Although the Romans knew about soaps, they preferred to clean themselves using olive oil and then scraping it, removing the dirt. Next, you would go to the palestra, usually an open courtyard where people exercised. This included disc throwing, wrestling, weightlifting, and ball games. And if you weren't into exercising, you could instead visit the library that bigger baths offered. After you're done with your activities, you would make your way to the baths, where you had hot, warm, and cold rooms. There wasn't a strict order that you had to follow, but it was common to go first to the caldarium, which was the hot room with heated pools. The room was heated using a hypocaust system, which circulated warm air under the floors and walls. The ground had pillars supporting the floor and was connected to a furnace that heated up the air that would then spread between the pillars, heating up the floor. Then the air would go up through flue tiles and then out through the roof. Near the caldarium, you would find steam rooms and the tepidarium, a warm room that was also heated but not as hot. So it usually stood between the caldarium and the frigidarium, the cold room. Another option you had if after going through the baths you wanted to swim was to go to the natatio, an outdoor swimming pool. Here you could chat with other visitors, sunbathe, play games, or buy some food from the vendors around the bath. After spending the afternoon in the baths, you would clean yourself again and go back to the apoditarium to get dressed to leave. People would stay in the baths for hours, enjoying all the activities and services they offered. However, not everyone was a fan of the public baths. Seneca, who lived above a public bath, complained about the noise in a letter to his friend Lucilius. I hear the grunts of muscle men exercising and jerking those heavy weights around. They are working hard or pretending to. I hear their sharp hissing when they release their pent breath. Then the cake seller with his varied cries, the sausage man, the confectioner, and all the vendors of food hawking their wares, each with his own distinctive intonation. Also, the water in the baths wasn't exactly clean. Cornelius Celsus, a Roman medical writer, wrote in his book about medicine that if you had a wound, bathing while the wound is not yet clean is one of the worst things you can do, for this makes the wound both wet and dirty, and then there is a tendency for gangrene to occur. Even though public baths had its critics, they were extremely popular among the ancient Romans. But as the empire started to decline, so did the baths. Funding and maintaining the buildings became more difficult, and some urban centers saw a decline in population, which led to baths being abandoned. Christianity also contributed to a shift in the bathing culture, which Christians saw as hedonistic and indulgent practices, which should be replaced by more humble and modest practices. Still, public baths didn't disappear entirely. Different bathing traditions and practices emerged influenced by the legacy of Roman bathing culture. In the Byzantine Empire, the part of the Roman Empire that survived when Rome fell, public baths continued to be used, and subsequent civilizations adapted the public baths according to their own needs. If you like this video, consider sharing it and subscribing for more content. You can also watch our last video if you haven't seen it already, and I'll see you in the next one.